Change does not roll in on the wheels of inevitability, but comes through continuous struggle. Faith is taking the first step even when you don't see the whole staircase. With these words, welcome you all to ABS Creations by your educationalist Chandrakala. Do not pray for tasks equal to your powers. Pray for powers equal to your task. Your power is your radical self. Find it. In this session, we will deal with the third concept of federalism, that is decentralization in India. I hope so. In the previous two videos, you understood the concept of federalism, features of federalism, and how federalism is practiced in India. Now we'll move on to deep into decentralization in India. So already we know that the federal form of government, they have two or more tiers of government, one at the central level and one at the provinces or state. Now see the map of India. So the map of India, by the map of India, it is understood that it is a vast country in size and population. So as it is very vast country in size as well as in population, India cannot be run only through these two tiers of government. So what is the reason behind it? So the states in India, now see the map here, the states in India are as large as independent countries of Europe. So India, there are numerous 29 states are there, whereas Europe is a continent with independent countries. When compared to the states of India and the independent countries of Europe, in terms of population, we can see that Uttar Pradesh is bigger than Russia. Uttar Pradesh is bigger than Russia with a population of 23.15 crore projected population in the year 2020. Whereas in Russia, it is only 14.59 crore population. Another example is that Maharashtra state with a projected population in the year 2020 is that 12.49 crore population, but Germany, it has only 8.37 crore projected population. With these examples, it is clearly understood that the states of India are as large as independent countries of Europe. So even the states of India, there are a lot of internally very diverse situation. So there is a need for what? Power sharing. There is a need for power sharing within these states. So the power has to be shared from the central government to the state government, and from the state government it has to be shared to the local government. So this is what the rationale for decentralization of power. What do you mean by the word rationale? It is nothing but the reason for the need for power sharing. So because of all these reasons here, there resulted a third tier of government in India called by the name as local government. So the reason behind is decentralization. So what is decentralization? When power is taken from the central and the state government and given to the local government, it is called as decentralization. When power is taken from the central and state government and given to the local government, it is called as a decentralization. What may be the basic idea behind decentralization? There are a lot of reasons here. So, what is that? Large number of problems and issues. It can be best settled at the local level. So, for example, if there is a problem in and around the region of Ambattur Corporation region, but is it possible for the state government to come and directly solve the problem here? It is not so. How the problem at the local level will be settled? It will be settled by the local leaders. So, and those people, they know the better knowledge of the problems in their locality, and they have the better ideas on where to spend money and how to manage things more efficiently. Besides, at the local level, it is also possible for the people to directly participate in decision making. When they directly participate in decision making, it helps them to inculcate a habit of democratic participation. So, local government is one of the most best way to realize one important principle of democracy, namely local self-government. You understood this? So, the need for decentralization. So, this need for decentralization was recognized in our constitution. The need for decentralization was recognized in our constitution. Several attempts were made to decentralize power to the level of villages and towns. In villages, it is called as panchayats, and in urban areas, it is called as the municipalities. So decentralization, the need for decentralization was recognized in our constitution. Several attempts were made to decentralize power to the level of villages and towns. Panchayats in villages and municipality in urban areas have been set up. But all these panchayats and the municipalities, they were under the control of the state government. They were under the control of the state government. Even though the need for decentralization was recognized in our constitution, regular elections for the local government was not held. Regular elections for the local government was not being held regularly. At the same time, local governments, they were not given power. They were not given any of the powers or resources of their own. So we can say that a very little decentralization was seen in less effective terms. So, in order to make the decentralization more effective, Constitution was amended in the year 1992, and various steps have been taken towards decentralization in the year 1992 to make it more powerful and effective. What were the steps? There are 5 major steps. What were the 5 major steps is that, first step is that constitutionally it is mandatory to hold regular elections for the local government bodies. So previously, even though constitution recognized the decentralization, election was not kept regularly. But after 1992, constitutional amendment of 1992 states that regular election has to be conducted for the local government bodies. The second step is that reservation of seats for scheduled caste, scheduled tribes and the other backward classes has to be allotted in the election bodies as well as in the executive heads of the institutions. So reservation of seats for scheduled caste, scheduled tribes and the other backward classes have to be reserved in the election bodies and even in the executive heads of the institution. The third major step is that 1/3 of all the position has to be reserved for the women category. 1/3 of all the position has to be reserved for the women category. The fourth step is that an independent institution called the State Election Commission. It has to be created in each state. To conduct what? Panchayat as well as municipal election. And the fifth major step is that the state government, what does the state government has to do means it is required to share the powers as well as the revenue to the local government. So this nature of power sharing and the revenue sharing it varies from one state to the other state. So these are the 5 major steps taken in the year 1992 to make decentralization more powerful and effective. We understood this. Now we'll move on to the next major concept, local government. So as you know that local government comes under the concept of third tier of government. It can be classified into 2 types. One is the rural government and another one is what? Urban government. So now we'll see the rural government. So rural government, we used to say it as a Panchayati Raj. Rural government, we say it as a Panchayat Raj. So here, what is that? Rural government is popularly known by the name Panchayati Raj. Here each village, now you can see the pictures here. Each village, one village or a group of villages. Each village or a group of villages in some states. They have what? They have a Gram Panchayat. They have what Panchayat here? Gram Panchayat. They have what Panchayat? Gram Panchayat. Gram Panchayat is nothing but village Panchayat formalized under local self-government. When we say about Panchayat Raj is the oldest system of local government. Which has been followed in India. So rural government is popularly known as what? Panchayat Raj. Each village or a group of villages in some states, they have a Gram Panchayat. What Panchayat here? They have a Gram Panchayat. So what is that? So this Gram Panchayat is a council consisting of ward members. It is a council consisting of ward members. So those ward members were often called as Panch. The council of members in the Gram Panchayat, they were called as Panch. And another member is that President. The President, or otherwise it is called as a Sarpanch. So the council of members of the Gram Panchayat, they were called by the name as Panch, and the president of the Gram Panchayat, we used to call them as Sarpanch. So all these group of people, the council of members as well as the president, Panch and Sarpanch, they are directly elected. They are directly elected by all the adult population of that particular village in that ward. So they are elected by that particular village by the adult population. At the same time, so the Panchayat works under the overall supervision of the Grama Sabha. So as I told you, the council of members, that is Panch, and the Sarpanch, that is president, they are elected by the adult population of that particular village or ward. The village Panchayat, they work under the overall supervision of the Grama Sabha. Overall supervision of Grama Sabha. So all the voters in the village are its members. So this Grama Sabha will meet 2 or 3 times a year. It will meet at least 2 or 3 times in a year. For what purpose? Means to approve the annual budget. To approve the annual budget of the Grama Panchayat and review the performance of it. So these Grama Sabha, they organize meeting 2 or 3 times in a year to approve the annual budget and review the performance of the Grama Sabha. So this is what we say it as a rural local government, popularly known as Panchayat Raj system. Now we'll move on to the local government structure towards the district level. A few Grama Panchayats. So previously we have seen village. Each village or group of village, they join together under Gram Panchayat. Now here, the district, a few Grama Panchayats, they are grouped together. They are grouped together to form what is usually called as Panchayat Samiti or block. We used to say the group of villages, we say it as Gram Panchayats. Group of Grama Panchayats are grouped into a Panchayat Samiti, or otherwise we say it as a block. So the members of this representative body, the members of this Grama Panchayat under the Panchayat Samiti or block are elected by all the Panchayat members. They are elected by whom? They are elected by all the Panchayat members. So all the Panchayat members, all the Panchayat Samitis or Mandals in a district, they together constitute what? Zilla Parishad. Now remember the concept here. So each village or group of village, they join together and they have a Gram Panchayat. So the Gram Panchayat is nothing but council of members, and those council of members, they were called as Panch and a president or a Sarpanch. So they are elected by their village people. So each Gram Panchayat, they are grouped into a Panchayat Samiti or a block, and they are elected by all the Panchayat members. So all the Panchayat Samitis or the Mandals in a district, they join together, they form Zilla Parishad. All the Panchayat Samitis or Mandals in a district together, they constitute Zilla Parishad. So most members of the Zilla Parishad, are elected members. So they may be the members of Lok Sabha and the members of legislative assemblies of the district and some other officials of other district level bodies. So Zilla Parishad chairperson. Who is the Zilla Parishad chairperson? Means he is acting as the political head of the Zilla Parishad. So Zilla Parishad chairperson is acting as the political head of the Zilla Parishad. We understood this? Okay. So the next concept is what? Similarly, the local government bodies exist for urban areas also. So here we say it as a municipalities. Here we say it as what? Municipality. So municipality is what? A city or a town that has its own government to deal with local programs. A city or a town that has its own government to deal with local problems. So that is what we used to say it as municipalities. Whereas municipal corporation. What is municipal corporation? It is a civic body that governs the city, that is headed by a mayor, who presides over 200 councillors, each of whom represents one of the 200 wards of the city. So municipal corporation is nothing but a governing body which includes cities, towns, township, and it is headed by a mayor who presides over 200 councillors, each of whom represents one of the 200 wards of the city. That is what we say it as a municipal corporation. So local government bodies exist for urban areas as well. So municipalities are set up in towns. Big cities are constituted into municipal corporation. Both municipalities and municipal corporation, they are controlled by elected bodies. Consisting of people's representative. So here, who is acting as the political head of the municipality means municipal chairperson. Who is acting as the political head of the municipality? Municipal chairperson. Whereas in municipal corporation, the political head of the municipal corporation is an officer called by the name as mayor. So who presides over 200 councillors, each of whom represents one of the 200 wards of the city. So this is what we used to say it as the local government at the urban level. We understood this. So this particular new system of local government is one of the largest experiment conducted anywhere in the world. So now at present about 36 lakh elected representatives in panchayats and municipalities etc. are there all over our country. So this number is bigger than the population of many countries in the world. So even though it is bigger than any other countries of the world, this local government faces a lot of challenges. Local government also faces a lot of challenges or difficulties. While elections are held regularly and enthusiastically, Grama Sabhas are not held regularly. While elections are held regularly and enthusiastically, Grama Sabha elections are not held regularly. That is one of the major problem. Another problem is that state government, they have not transferred significant powers to the local governments. State governments, they have not transferred the significant powers to the local government, and nor they have given the adequate resources also. So this is what the problems or the difficulties which is faced by the local government in India. I think you understood the concept of decentralization in India. So now you can go understand the concept. Go through these questions and you can test yourself. In the description box, I have given the link of the previous 2 videos for you to understand the concept and view the concept and understand it. So if you like this video, you can share it, you can subscribe it, you can comment it. Thank you.